Part 2 of this one. Trying to have him come out on Fridays. Missed it this week. I was not feeling well. Felt like I was being poisoned. But I got a new fucking camera set up. We're chilling. I just want to make sure. Let me just make sure everything's chill right now. Alright, yeah. We're recording. We're good. I don't know. Hopefully it all looks good. We're just going to go for it. Alright. So, we're watching Alex Collier talking about the moon and Mars. We're about halfway through this little playlist. They're like 10-minute videos. Yeah, he's just getting into some wild stuff. Maybe he's making it up. Maybe this is all just a weird psyop. Maybe it's, I don't know, silliness. I don't know. But I'm here to hear it out because some of the shit makes sense. Some of it's really out there. Who am I to judge? I like the out there shit. Even if it's just made up, hey, if it makes sense in my head, if you make it up, all right, we can play with these ideas. You know, that's all I'm asking. Just keep an open mind with this stuff because you never know. You never know. Sometimes that real wild stuff is like closer to reality than you actually think. But anyway, yeah. Let's get into it.
Just say that one more time. They are Aryans by birth. They are Aryans by birth. You're going to have to research them because if I come right out and say it, I'll get in deep trouble. Okay, Aryans by birth. They're not.
Oh shit.
They're also there with extraterrestrials. Between the moon and our Earth, there are 18,000 grays here. There are only apparently 2,000 real grays left. All the rest are clones. They're robots. They're organic robots. And microprocessors are grown in their head. And they are controlled by some kind of a radio frequency.
5D.
Now, the Greys and the Orions also have this technology to absolutely replicate and duplicate a human being. And for those of you who are familiar with the old...
Damn, this is all way before like Wi-Fi and like cell phone towers were really a huge thing. I wonder if that's like either like controlling them or if it's like protecting us from them. I don't know. I wonder if it has something to do. I might just be putting things together, but it's something to think about. Because this is not a really recent video at all. This is way before the internet really was taking off. This is before like cell phones were really taking off. This is before like smartphones were even an idea.
Beater stuff before he was killed in a parking lot in Dallas. I would suggest you go back and research that information. Except he was told the Russians were doing it, and they're not doing it. It's extraterrestrials who are doing it, who are trying to undermine the free will of those of us on the surface of the planet. Because this is our home. Okay, Mars. I'm still working on more information, but I'm going to show you a couple things and share things that I've been told about Mars. The first thing I want to share with you about Mars is that, again, everything we've been told about it is wrong. Mars' atmosphere is full of oxygen and ozone. In fact, the local scientists.
So, that being said, what we got some people, I don't need to name names. We know who I'm talking about. Certain individuals trying to go to Mars, like, currently. Just be careful. This guy was kind of saying it's fully a full atmosphere, full of oxygen. So these guys might be putting on a show for us to say they terraformed it for us. This might also be part of the psyop of like, yeah, go to Mars and they just shoot you into space and get rid of you. Who knows? I don't know. But that's interesting.
Paper on March 23rd of 1995 flat out said that in 1971 they had discovered it was full of ozone. Well, folks, you go to the library and you pull out any book that you can find on Mars written by any scientist on this planet, and they don't say virtually anything about ozone. But it's there. We're told that its actual gravity is about 1%. Well, if the atmosphere is so feeble, then how is it that it can have 300-mile-an-hour wind storms? If the atmosphere is so feeble, how is it that it can hold water at both poles? Next slide. Let's go next slide. I'm sorry. At both poles. And there's water at both poles. This is water, H2O. We're told that the Martian atmosphere never gets above 129 degrees below zero. And yet, this past February or March, you had a picture from the Hubble telescope of Mars and the North Polar Cap melting. Now, I'm not a scientist, but tell me, how does water melt at 129 degrees below zero? I'm open. I'm open. Okay, apparently Mars has been inhabited off and on as a base, as a small colony, as a staging point for extraterrestrials who are exploring and leaving our galaxy to go to another for 3.8 billion years. The ruins that Richard shows and other people, they're tombs. This is what I'm told, that they're tombs. And that there's far more there than's being shown. Most of it's been buried. Because during a war previous 69 million years ago, Mars was almost exactly like Earth. In fact, Mornay has said that many of the animal life that was on Mars is on Earth. That when we get there, when we as a race get there, publicly get there, we will find that there were dinosaurs. Many of the exact same animals and mammals and reptiles were on both our worlds. And that Mars had a totally different orbit. It was literally pulled from its orbit, and as it was pulled from its orbit by 19 million miles, it rolled like a ball 3 times. And the water that was here just moved everything.
So we're talking great floods, flood myths. So the whole planet, I don't know. Jeez. Okay. So the water, the thing rolls, the water moves. It sounds like the flood myths from Earth. Maybe the flood myths are from when we were on Mars, maybe. I don't know.
And that it's been reactivated. It was reactivated in 1989. Now, I did a lecture in Dallas, and I've been talking about this information for several years now. And I was told that in 1989, Orion troops landed on Mars and took over colonies that were settled, created there by Terrans, us, by human beings from Earth. They came in and just took it over. Now, this gentleman who approached me, and I'm just sharing this with you, said that his best friend's brother worked for Central Intelligence and was a director of NASA and resigned in 1991. He said that his brother told him that the meetings on Malta, on the ship just off the coast of Malta between Gorbachev and Bush, were about what was going on Mars and that they were scared to death. Now, folks, I gotta share this with you. The beings that are here from Orion, they're into control. They're into control. There is no such thing as self-rule in the Orion Empire. There's a hierarchy. Now, if you look at our planet, if you really look at what's going on our planet right now, there's only one nation that truly cherishes self-rule and actually has real experience in self-rule. That's the U.S. And we're armed to the hilt because our Constitution says we can be. This is why the focus is on destroying the United States of America. Okay, the UN, the World Order, all of that stuff, they're all taking orders from ETs, and they're scared to death. But they are willing to sacrifice this nation. They are willing to kill 3.5 to 4 billion people to maintain their place as the new priesthoods. This is Sumeria, this is Egypt all over again, but on a much grander scale, because now you've got 6 billion people living here. If the people of this nation surrender the Bill of Rights by 1998, folks, you will no longer have the United States of America. That's a guarantee. That's a guarantee. This is the reason the Andromedans are coming back, because 317 years into our future, our galaxy is in tyranny. And they have traced, through time travel, all the events that lead to the single point that shifted the energy from free to tyranny. Now, we're not just talking about free, we're talking about also on a spiritual level. Suppression, oppression of soul, of spirit. And they have traced it all back to our solar system, which is why many races are coming back and saying, hey, wait, this isn't going to work. Because 317 years in our future, there's tyranny here. There is no such thing as freedom.
Yeah.
And we somehow are dead square in the middle of this thing. Sorry for the news. But we are. This is the only...
So in my mind, this is tying it, like, if there's ETs coming from the future, coming here and changing the past, that, to me, explains a lot of, like, Mandela effect, too. This is kind of throwing, like, everything into one thing. I'm connecting it all. Just maybe I'm reaching, but, like, it seems like we all remember things from, like, the 90s and early 2000s where we go back and it's slightly changed. That we always joke, the timeline shifted, something happens in your life and things feel a little different. Oh, the timeline shifted. Well, like, that's maybe what's going on. Maybe these ETs come and this shift the timeline just by coming here. Like the drones and stuff. I know a lot of those were U.S. military, possibly other military campaigns, but there's definitely some UFO activity that is not that. Like there are things that are unexplainable, and I think them coming here is just shifting that timeline just by being here. And I'm sure there's people that get abducted, all these different experiences they have, whether it's in your dreams, whether it's real life, sleep paralysis. I think it might just be shifting everything so slightly we don't even really notice it, but we can feel it on a certain level, and then we just kind of rationalize it or move on or ignore it. But there's things happening for sure.
Next slide. Save your questions, please. Write them down, okay? You all know about the face, or most of you I'm sure do. There is a lot more in this area that needs to be explored. Those of you who are researchers, please get pictures of not the face, but go north, where the mountains are. Okay? There are ruins everywhere. There are domes collapsed on top of themselves. In fact, there's one that's still there that looks like Texas Stadium in Dallas with the opening in the middle. It's there. It's there. Next slide. I just put this in because everybody's interested in the physics. I'm not a physics person. But it is important because it all matches up. You know, there are symbols in all of this. In fact, I want to share with you about crop circles. I've asked a lot of questions about crop circles, and I'm told that there are two groups leading crop circles. There's the Andromedan Council, which is made up of 139 different races, which is putting encoded information into the Earth to help stabilize it from Earth calamities. They're trying to buy us time. And many of the other crop circles that are being left by Orion. Now, where are they coming from? They're coming from Hale-Bopp. Hale-Bopp. Hale-Bopp is not a comet, which are ships are going to move out of the tail and move into an orbit around Mercury. And this is in February, March of 97, and they're going to tell us they're here for sure. That'll be the latest. The highest probabilities is that by the end of November of this year, after Spielberg's movie about Roswell is released, they're going to start telling you that they're coming, that they picked up signals. And the truth is they picked up signals back in 1960, you know. And in fact, they were already on the moon in 1960 with extraterrestrial help.
Yeah,
So, I mean, the whole thing is a conspiracy within a conspiracy within a conspiracy, and it is all to keep us fat, dumb, and stupid. Not to spook the herd, as a
bread and circus, as I like to say.
Mindset.
I didn't make it up, but that's like an ancient Roman thing. But bread and circus, keep people fed, people entertained, feed them, entertain them, and they won't fucking think about shit.
Because they fear us. They fear us. Because if we stand together and we ask for benevolent help, folks, it's going to be there. In fact, I've been told that the Andromedan Council has already decided to directly intervene, but I don't know what that is. I can tell you this, that the Pleiadians are at full-fledged war with the Greys outside our solar system. They're dying on both sides. This is going on, and the Hubble telescope sees it, and there are two Hubble telescopes, not one. The Russians sent one up, but you're not being told about that. Next slide, please. Olympus Mons, 15 miles high. 1979, NASA admitted that they saw water vapor and ice clouds going over it. That's 90,000 feet. Okay, that's higher than the clouds on our planet. Now we're told that the circumference of Mars is 4,200 feet. The Andromedans say, wrong. They say it's 11,230 miles. It's 3 times the size we're being told it is. The Andromedans also say that if you look at the planets in your solar system and you look at the brightness of those planets, that is proof that we live in a binary star system. They say we have 2 suns. But because of the rotation and the position of our planet, we never see the sister.
Yo, 2 suns? That's like, there's old scripture or like myths and of like the black sun. I know, like people say the sun changed. I don't know. That's crazy though.
If you're on Venus, Mercury, or the others, you would see it. They rotate around each other. I realize it flies in the face of everything. I'm just here sharing with you, and I'm just...
Because I'm not a huge, like, I'm not like a flat earther, but whenever I like have looked into the flat earth stuff, they're right about us being lied to about like space. And they go like the full extreme of like, it's all a lie, it's all fake. None of it's real. It's like, well, okay, some of it's real, but they're hiding. I think that's part of the psyop is like, you say none of it's real, you keep people in the wrong direction, the misdirection, when a lot of it's real, but what we're told is just slightly off, you know? There's slightly different things just to make it seem like it'd be impossible for us to have 2 suns. Like, oh, that doesn't make sense. We have 2 suns? No, that's crazy. But maybe we do. I don't know. I've never been to space. I've never seen them.
Yeah, keep an open mind. Next slide, please. Okay. Cydonia is in the northern hemisphere. Now I'm told that at one time most of that area was covered with water, and that along the equator of Mars is where most of the colonial cities were, colonies, outposts. They said much of the bigger cities on Mars before it was destroyed was in the southern hemisphere. Now I want you to, honey, can we focus it just a shade? I want you to focus on this area right in here. Now this area is known as our Great Plantatia. This is in the southern hemisphere. Now, there's a little happy face. Yeah. I thought that was pretty amazing. You know. Okay, but if we go to the next slide. This apparently is another tomb that was in fact destroyed. And these are 3 more pyramids that are lined up just like Giza. This area right here. And that these are also ruins. This is what they say. And folks, they've never lied to me. Right here. They want us desperately to wake up. Now they have their own selfish reasons. Okay, because of the fact of the problems that apparently come up in the future. But there's also another reason. Many of the human races in our galaxy, because of so much interbreeding between the one race, the genetics apparently are starting to break down.
What?
There's only one race in our galaxy that can give these particular human races a genetic boost, and that's us. But they can't use our genetics. They can't even approach us because of the vibration we all move at, which is fear and anger. They say when we're not taking advantage of others, we're taking advantage of ourselves. It hasn't stopped the regressives because they vibrate at this frequency, and they've also helped to propagate many of the belief systems that we have right now. We have real problems because this is all coming to a head by the year 2000. They're going to be here in 97, and official protocol ships from Orion are going to be here. Now, I want to share with you some of the things that the Greys are up to. Many people say they've left. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but apparently they're still here, and they have no intentions of leaving because they need us. They are desperately trying to save their race by using our genetics, but it isn't working. They can create the form, but they can't put soul in the body. That's a gift. Now, here's what they're doing. This is what I'm told they're doing. I'm told that many of the abductions that are occurring now, that the vital body, the aura of the people being abducted, which is primarily the females in a family, and it's usually the first and second daughter and the mother, what they're doing is they're peeling off the vital body, the closest part to the energy field, and they are storing it and they are feeding it to the hybrids that have that mother's genetics in it. And apparently they're doing this to keep them alive. And they're also apparently trying to create soul. They think by stealing your aura, the vital body, in your energy field, and giving it to another, that it will create soul. You need to be aware of this. Okay, this is why a lot of folks who are weird things are happening, they're getting real sick and run down, is because your vital life force is being stripped from you. And folks, there is a violation of free will, big time going on here. You know, there are a lot of blinds in metaphysics. And one of them says that you create your own reality. Well, that's true. But there is a violation of free will. And we are being violated big time. And our race...
I about guarantee everybody can feel that violation of free will. I definitely feel it. You try to fight it, you gotta protect your aura. But that's what I'm saying. I've talked about it before, but the battle of good and evil, man. That shit's happening for real.
And for the last 5,400 years. Big time. I'm dealing with the race we know ourselves now as Homo sapiens sapien. I don't know, is there another slide? Phobos. Phobos is an artificial moon. This is where the majority of the 2,000 real grays that are left are hiding out, is on Phobos. And when you look at pictures of Phobos, when you go through your magazines or you go through, the astronomy magazines, I'm told that you should, I've been asked to share with you the idea that you should look very carefully about the inside of craters. That many of the openings that lead into this are inside the craters, that the bottoms open up and the ships come in and the ships come out. Okay? Now, Phobos is a major anomaly because it goes counterclockwise to everything else in our solar system. It rotates counterclockwise to everything else. Let's see, there's one more. Okay, this is the North Pole of Jupiter. This is a photograph taken by the Voyager. I'm sorry, the Galileo. Anybody care to tell me what that might be?
What the hell? How have I never seen this? The North Pole of Jupiter is this fucking thing? What?
I don't know either. Yes, that's the North Pole. When it went over, it photographed this sitting there. It could be. It could be. I'm just sharing it with you because I want you to think about it.
How have we never seen this?
I think it's a satellite. It's an alien satellite that they caught on top. That satellite's analyzing the surface.
That's a very good answer.
I know it is. One day they'll get it.
That's massive, though.
Next slide, please. This is Ganymede. Ganymede's another artificial satellite. Ganymede has life on it, has water, has an atmosphere, has oxygen. Many of the benevolent races use this as a base.
What?
This is Ganymede. Has an atmosphere, has oxygen. Many of the benevolent races use this as a base. This is Ganymede. I'm sorry? That's Jupiter. It's one of the moons of Jupiter. Now, if you look carefully at the satellite we just sent up there, and you look at the rotation of what it's focusing on, the moons that it's focusing on will tell you an awful lot about what it is that they're looking for. They do nothing without a reason.
Yeah.
And
They won't tell you, though.
let's see, let's see.
We gotta figure that out ourselves. I don't know. This stuff's making a lot of sense to me. It's crazy, and I love that shit.
Next slide, please. I think that's the last one. That's the last one. Okay, we can have the lights be great. Thank you, Dean.
So
Okay, I can come out from behind here.
if you just keep an open mind and check this stuff out with an open mind.
Okay, I want to share this with
and
you.
think, hey, maybe he's
This last
maybe
thing,
he's onto something.
I was
maybe
told
he's
that
right.
March 23rd, 1994, that 19 suns pole shifted in our galaxy, and that many are pole shifting all the time. At exactly the same moment that the suns in our galaxy pole shifted, a color and sound frequency started emanating from all the black holes in the known universe. Now, apparently what this sound and color frequency is doing, it is literally creating a holographic density above all others. And on a numerical level, it would be, on our level, it would be considered the 12th. The Andromedans say that there are 11 creational densities in our universe. This is now adding a 12th. And that what it's doing is that it is literally lifting all the dimensions up. 11 is going to 12, 10 to 11, etc. Now they say that all indications are that by December 3rd, in our linear time of the year 2013, third density as we know it will cease to exist. It is now presently imploding on itself as it is being raised to a higher vibration.
Bro, think back. Okay, just think back to December 2013. Things changed around that time. I'd say from 2012 to 2013, major changes happened. All right.
And that those of us who stick around and go for the ride will be moving through 4th into 5th density.
Yo.
Just like that. And that we will start to see very clear indications of this around the year 2007.
Yo.
Now, apparently the Andromedan Council, which is a group of 139 planetary systems, and I can't tell you exactly how many races because I don't know, has made a decision and has told all of the extraterrestrial influences in our solar system, both benevolent and non-benevolent, and those who are in the middle, to be out of this solar system no later than August 12, 2003. I don't know how they're going to back it up, but apparently they've decided they're going to. So they want them all out of here. Now, if this happens, and they do leave, you're going to see incredible things. If they do not, I have been told to tell you this, that there's a very high probability that we will wake up one morning or go outside one night and the moon will not be there. It will be towed towards Jupiter.
Yo.
And they will deal with the energies that are there out there. Because if they have to go to battle and the moon gets destroyed, it will destroy most of the Earth because, pieces of it will come here. Plus, it has an energy source inside of itself. Okay, it's a spacecraft. So this is another possibility, and
So then they left.
I talked about the tides. I mentioned the tides and more, and they said, "Hey, that's no big deal. We can just get you another one." Apparently, it's no big deal.
Did the moon
Planetary
change?
science is no big deal when you're at that level of technology. Yes, ma'am.
I noticed that the moon had moved closer to Earth. What did they say about that? About 2 years ago?
Apparently, it's moving closer all the time. The Andromedans say that it's moving 9 inches closer to us, and we're not being told about anything about it. They also have said that Mars is also moving closer to us as well. Yeah, it's moving closer. I don't know what it is, unless it's to disrupt the gravity pull will create earthquakes.
What's 9 inches have to do with 240,000 miles?
I don't know, sir. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know.
Where you get to where people in the back cannot hear these questions.
I'm sorry. I'll repeat the questions when they're said. Thank you, Dean. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
If most of those satellites are artificially made, why do they make the surface so rough?
The question is if the satellites or the moons are artificially created, why do they make the surfaces so rough? Obviously to hide what they are. Other than that, I don't know. Ma'am in the back.
Yes, yes, we really have a struggle going on between basically good and evil. Are the benevolent people more, aliens more?
All right, so I guess we're in a Q&A portion here. See how far we got. I mean, I'm interested in the Q&A. Because I have questions and I want to hear what these people's questions are about too. Let's just see this quick. Whatever. Let's just keep going.
Powerful, or is it more up down? I mean, do we really have a chance?
Okay. The question is if there's really a battle between good and evil, are the benevolents more powerful? Do they have more? And do we really have a chance? Oh, gosh. I've been told that if they stuck together, yes, they could resolve the situation here. But there are some significant problems that they have. Now, back in 1985, when I was being told all of this, there were a lot of discussions going on back in Andromeda about what to do with us. Now, half of the Andromedan Council didn't want anything to do with us. And their reasons were this. These were their sole reasons for not wanting to help us. They don't respect their home, they don't respect each other, and they don't respect themselves. What is their value?
Damn.
Now the side,
true though,
those
right?
that wanted to help, because they have seen us as...
Which, man, I feel like that's part of the attack on the free will, is that the shift, because there's a time in the world where people did respect the planet and there's themselves and each other, but we like have lost that, and I feel like it's part of this battle going on. You get us to stop respecting ourselves, the planet, and everything. How easy is it to fucking take control of that then? You know what I mean? Just slowly over like just different cultural changes, industrial revolution, all that shit. Like you curse people with this convenience, and then all of a sudden it's like, damn, I don't care about my neighbors. Give me what I want now. Like, I'm not sharing with anybody. Like, blah, 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 whatever. I want fast now, quick, tasty, delicious. Give me now. Like that kind of stuff. Like fast food, just vibe. Not that like fast food's bad. Eat fast food, whatever. Enjoy it. Enjoy yourself. But like understand, like there's things out here to like change how your brain works, how your mind works, how your soul feels. And yeah, that being one of the main reasons that these things don't want to like help us is pretty intense. Again, who knows how real all this is? But I don't know, man. Why would you give lectures like this and be so knowledgeable on fake shit? Like, I don't, like why would you be doing this if it wasn't at least a little real? And now, timelines change. It might have shifted. Things might be different than how he's talking about it. Who knows? I don't, but I'm just hearing it out.
Being violated with our free will somehow convinced them that this was a worthwhile project. Now, intervention not only changes our reality, it changes their reality. And one of the things that the Andromedans and Morane has said specifically is they don't want to come down here and help us when we don't want to help ourselves. Because then they end up babysitting. And if something happens, then we could always blame them. And the cycle starts all over again.
Classic.
This is about self-responsibility. That's what this whole thing is about.
That's why they
There
can't
are
just
one
come
group
and
of ETs
fix
who
it,
say,
like,
well, there's no way. You cannot be self-responsible. You cannot rule yourselves. And then we were given this opportunity 200 and some odd years ago to try this experiment. And we succeeded in doing it. But now we're being lulled back into a place where we want somebody to take care of us.
yeah.
And you know
fooled.
that
You can see that
You're
in
gonna
like how
sacrifice your
governments
freedom.
work. We just want a savior.
I'm not about to do that.
Who do you think they're run by? Who do you think the nations of the world are run by when they're selling you this idea of, oh, we're gonna come save you, we're gonna come take care of you. Oh, you won't have to worry about anything. We'll do this. Just give us all this information. Work for us. Do what you're told. But it's like, yo, we can all be independent. It's gonna take work, but like, it's that I call it the curse of convenience, because they sell you this convenience, but all of a sudden you're stuck jumping through these hoops. You got to do all these, sign over this, agree to these terms, do all this bullshit that like isn't really necessary, but it is if you want this convenience, this convenience. But I think I don't know. Being self-reliant is the true power. It's how your soul grows. Like, grow your own food. That's like, oh yeah, that's something that pisses me off too. Trying to tell us that like growing your own gardens is bad for the environment. That doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. So like, I'm gonna say grow your own food. Be self-reliant. Preserve your food. Save your food. Share your food. Like, teach people how you did it. learn from others how they did it. You know, like share the knowledge, share the wealth, share the fruits. You know what I mean? Like that's the real goal, right? That's what we were supposed to do. Like the more we help ourselves, the more we'll get help from these like higher entities. You know, because man, this is it makes sense. I'm making sense of it. Maybe I'm reaching, but like I don't think so. I think this is pretty right on the nose.
So, who's going to win? I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I had a place to hide until it was over, but I don't.
Their interference has caused a lot of this to surface. I mean, they've kind of, changed our direction as to what we might have been able to accomplish.
You're right. The question was, she added, that we've been manipulated and they've helped to change us into a different direction. You're absolutely right. However, when I brought that question up to Mornay, he looked at me and he said, are you aware that your government is drugging its young people?
Yeah.
And I said, well, yes. He says, are you aware of a couple other things that he mentioned which are really sensitive? And I said, well, yes. He says, well, what has your race done about it? I mean, 1986, 1987, West 57th Street, twice in 6 months, showed Air Force personnel unloading bales of marijuana and cocaine off of planes at Hempstead Air Force Base and loading it up with weapons and taking off for Costa Rica. Twice they showed this on national TV. What happened? West 57th Street was taken off the air, and nobody did anything. Again, it comes back to self-responsibility. They are watching us. They are watching us and saying, should we come in and help this race when they don't want to clean up their own act, when they don't want to take care of their own? Do you realize, and big time.
Yeah, I feel like I'm being called out with that. I want to get defensive, but like, yeah, I guess I haven't done shit. What have I done to fucking change anything? I mean, I guess it's the small changes you do in yourself, but like, maybe, I don't know. What do we do? What can we do? Like, I don't want to do violence. I think that's like the trap. What do we do though? Try to just better ourselves, better those around us, help out the ones around us. Move in the right direction. I think these are age-old questions, but something to think about, something to contemplate, like in your heart, in your soul.
Those who don't want to make a shift are going to be checking out because the frequency, everything is changing, folks. And I'm not trying to instill fear in you. I'm trying to share with you what they've told me, and they have not been wrong. Things are going to radically change, and it's going to start just like this. It has. You watch November of this year, it's going to get really weird in this country. Really weird. Mm-hmm. They're going to try to divide us. And because if you divide, you can conquer.
Damn. Think about that. Think about where we're at right now. Think about what's been going on in the past almost 10 years and before that. How it's ramped up, how it's gone. Remember how weird things felt in 2016? And then we're like, damn, it can't get weirder than this. Then 2020 comes around. Oh, shit, this is even weirder. People just at each other's necks for any reason they could think. Look at us now. I feel like I don't know. I think people are starting to like figure it out a little more. At least I hope. At least that's what I'm surrounding myself with, is people that kind of have that understanding of like the bigger picture, the higher picture. But yeah, just be careful, Careful before you judge people. Try to understand, have an open mind, like understand their perspective.
And whatever you do, please don't turn on each other. The enemy is underground. They're on the moon. It is not your neighbor.
Yo, that's what I'm going to start saying to people when people start arguing or like talking shit about other people or be like, oh, they're so dumb for this. Yo, that's not your enemy. The enemy's underground. They're on the moon.
It is not your policeman.
Yeah,
He's
not the
not
police.
the enemy.
They're underground. They're on the moon.
You know, if you want to do something really constructive and you don't know what to do, just do this one thing. Come November, if there's an election, vote. Whoever's been in office, vote him out. Start over. That will buy us more time.
What happened in 1994 that stopped the integrating of the oxygen supply?
Nothing. Apparently there's been this divine intervention and third density is moving into fifth. Therefore, they say this is going to happen by December of 2013, so the 41 years won't go by. So we've been rescued on some level already. But I don't know how many of us are going to make it. You know, now, the world government has been told that we're overpopulated, okay, by the aliens. The truth is, they can't control all of us.
Yeah.
They can't control us here. So they decide they want to just eliminate half the world's population.
They're talking overpopulation. He said there's 6 billion. We're almost at 9. So think about that as things ramp up.
Now, folks, I want to share this with you. According to the Andromedans, our planet could comfortably handle a population of 11 billion if we didn't squander our natural resources and we went to free energy.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Now, the free energy has been suppressed forever.
Right.
If we went to that, we could turn this whole thing around.
Right.
Yeah.
All right? What's happened is the political systems have broken down, but they don't want to take responsibility for it because in order to fix it, they have to make us more free.
Yeah.
And they're not about to do that. They are not about to relinquish control of you, your money, your assets, because you're a natural resource. So it's easier to create a catastrophe like a pole shift or something else, biological weapons, and
Biological weapons. Like maybe a virus? And maybe the cure to the virus? I don't know. Is that crazy to say? These wildfires, maybe? Maybe this fog, maybe? Maybe that weird hurricane that hit South Carolina? Maybe these natural disasters that are suspiciously happening and things that could have stopped the natural disasters were not done for some reason no one has answers for.
just wipe out half the population. And they're still in charge. And I can assure you that those people that you call your world leaders, those who are part of this game, will be sitting on the moon watching all this happen. And when it's done, they'll come back with answers, just like a politician, you know. Yes, sir, in the back with the striped shirt.
You mentioned something about economics, materialism, what have you. How does
That's my cat's food, don't worry.
that correlate with your comments about getting our souls in a place that we think of in terms of metaphysics or religion? How does that fit in?
Okay.
Where does the answers come from?
Who could not have a soul? The Greys? The clones that... No, I'm talking about, I'm referring to the clones, the hybrids that they're creating. They do not have soul. That's what I'm told. That's right. They're not actual beings. Microprocessors, organic microprocessors are grown inside their brains.
Organic microprocessors.
And they're great and are not living beings.
Some of them are not, no.
Do they have souls?
The ones who are not clones? Yes, they do.
What was that question back there? I still didn't get it.
Yeah.
We got off.
Yeah, where does soul and spirit get into this?
Okay.
Is this a possible solution?
Why are they so interested in us? Now this is really going to stretch your belief systems. I am told that a majority of the physical beings, human beings that are in third density, not only on our planet, but in 21 other systems, who are experiencing the same problem we are having, are beings that apparently at some time in our past 11th density. Now, the Andromedans have said that our universe, what we know as our universe, is in linear time, and this is the only way that I can explain it, is as we count time, is that our universe is a 21 trillion year holograph.
What?
It's a holograph. It's a picture within a picture within a picture, or a dream within a dream within a dream, however you want to look at it. And that apparently many of the souls of third density were at 11th density. And for some reason, this collective group consciousness decided they wanted a different perspective. And they literally fell into the concept of time, into physicality, and literally carved out of nothing what we know as third density. Now, third density...
This is heavy.
To many of these other races is like putting your hand in Jell-O and trying to move it back and forth. There's so much resistance, it's so dense. And yet here we are literally creating all this. That's how powerful we are. That's how powerful our minds are. Which is why there's been so much focus on brainwashing, on trying to make us victims, or believe that we're victims.
Oh,
because the minute we wake up and we take a step back, detach.
Bro. Oh my God, this just started. It's just like when he starts talking about this stuff, the spiritual aspect, it makes so much sense to me that I almost have to believe the moon and Mars shit and the inner Earth. Like, I just gotta sit in that for a sec. All right.
And see our situation for what it really is, they've lost control. It ends there the minute we awake. And this is why channeled information, so many different races and beings are trying to light the fire underneath us. Because they can't directly come in and interfere unless a percentage of us ask for permission, because then it's a violation of free will. And they've done exactly what the regressives have done, even though it was for our own good. You cannot violate free will. That's the law. So they're trying to help us awaken and at the same time try to make us think it's our idea. That's the trick. And it's working, I think, to a degree. But you know how quickly it's working, I just don't know. I'm scared. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I am scared about what the next 4 years are going to bring.
What about the earthquakes?
A lot of it is. I'm sorry. The question is, what about the earthquakes? Some of them are natural, and some of them are being caused. Well, I wish I had a board. But what's basically happening is you've got a planet that is vibrating at a frequency of fear and anger. You've got this new frequency called the 12th density, which is lifting everything up. Well, these really dense energies cannot move up. So the planet herself, in order for her to move up into 5th density, has got to cut loose with this energy. And what's happening is that she's cutting loose with this negativity, which she's been holding on to. It's hitting the surface, and it's feeding us as a population, because we're already in that space. You know, and you know, there are predictions of wars. Oh, God, we're all primed. We're all ready for it. You know, the whole world's broke. Everybody's looking for food. The world has got a food supply of 53 days. The entire world. The United States of America, should there be a catastrophe, has only a 7 days food supply. What happens after those 7 days? Are we going to start feeding off each other? That's our MO. Yes, sir.
Before you go any further, can you define what you mean by density, third density?
Yes. Okay, can you define densities, frequencies? Density and dimension, they're really one and the same thing. They are a frequency in which light and sound oscillate at. We oscillate at a specific range. Other things oscillate at other ranges, higher ranges. There really isn't anything lower than us at this present time. You know, we've hit bottom, there's only one place to go, and that's up.
Let's go.
As the old saying is. So it's a frequency, it's light, it's sound. If this is a holograph, If what they're saying is right, that this is a 21 trillion year old holograph, then all of this is just light and sound. Now, there are places in space where there is nothing, no matter. According to the Andromedans, those are areas that have not been magnetized by thought. Now, with the first aspect of physicality, the first sign of creation, they say, is the electron. The moment that particle is magnetized by thought, it comes alive, and it starts to create and manifest whatever is energizing it or magnetizing it. I know it's out there. I still have trouble with understanding a lot of it. Yes, ma'am.
Does this time frequency that you see them for the 2013, does that have anything to do with what
I still have trouble with understanding a lot of it.
some people are talking about, some of the astrologers and others, about the entryway to the photon band or photon belt?
The question was, does the time of 2013 have anything to do with what astrologers or astronomers are saying about the photon belt? Ma'am, they have never mentioned anything about the photon belt. In fact, the Andromedans have absolutely no belief system whatsoever in astrology. And I don't mean to offend anybody, this is their perspective. They say it's all a belief system.
How does it all agree with King James Version?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll tell you. The gentleman said, "How does why does this all agree?" He said, "Why does this all agree with the King James Version?" How does this all agree with the King James Version? Well, I will just tell you, this is a very touchy subject. I will just tell you this, that Mornay has told me that it is more important to know why you believe something than the fact that you believe it. And in their opinion, the fact that we all believe, or a majority of the people believe in the book of Revelations, that we are literally going to self-fulfill it.
Yeah.
What we think we create.
Why?
Let's see, who else? I see somebody pointing at somebody else who doesn't want to raise his hand, probably. Yes, ma'am, in the back.
Richard Hoagland talks about...
Could you stand up? I can't hear you.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Richard Hoagland talks about hyperdimensional physics,
Mm-hmm.
and through that, we can change our reality. And so this is really what you're saying, is that if we believe in the book of Revelation, we're created. So wouldn't it be an idea that if we change our thought about the year 2013 as something other than a outlined there, and that's sort of what he is saying, is hyperdimensional physics can allow that person to change their reality through their thoughts, and it's basic metaphysics. And that would be eliminating fear, because if we go into anything with fear, we cannot change our thoughts. I don't know, when you said you were afraid, it made me concerned about your information, although I really think your information sounds to me very valid. But when fear can change that reality, does that make any sense?
Yes, it does. The fears that I have are my own. How do I put this? I have a lot of years invested as a child and as a young adult in Christianity. I have been made aware of the fact that there's no net underneath me. No net at all. And the fear that I have is my own belief in myself to be totally self-responsible. I can admit that. So that's the fear. Because if there's no net underneath me, it lies squarely on my shoulders to figure out my reality. And when I see all this stuff going on, what is it that I want to create? What do I want to create? My wife and I want to have a baby. I'm 39 years old. I've been in many other relationships, and I've raised other children that weren't my own. Now I want to raise my own. And, there's a lot of things going on that influence that decision. So I share the information, but I'm also sharing myself. So you have to take that whatever way you want. Yes, ma'am.
Question about reincarnation. If, say, the Earth is destroyed in the future, where are the souls going to reincarnate? Are we going to go to other planets where they have similar life forms? Or they're supposed to go into, or what? What's the theory on that?
Okay. The question was about reincarnation. If the Earth is destroyed in the future, where will all these souls go to continue to reincarnate? That's a great question. I will share with you a couple things about that. Their theory, the Andromedan theory on that is this. They say that all physical matter that is in this 21 trillion-year-old holograph came out of what we know as black holes. So the Big Bang theory is correct in its simplicity. But apparently what happened was some other universes somewhere also went through the process of evolving, and those things that chose not to evolve, to raise their frequency for whatever reason, were taken into black holes, and because spirit cannot be destroyed, it has to create another space to continue to evolve. Now the Andromedans call that space consciousness. They call our universe consciousness, because that's what created it. They say this is happening all over again. And the London Sunday Times this past Sunday, for those of you on January 1st, the London Sunday Times on the back, apparently the Hubble telescope has found a floating black hole that is moving through, it's right now in Virgo, it is floating, and it is pulling some suns, some stars into it, but not others. And they're gone. And they're actually watching this thing now. And that's the London Sunday Times, January 1st. For those of you who want to go to Union Stamps and try to get it. It's on the back page of the front section. Big article. Okay? So, there's a God. And whatever she has decided to do is going to happen.
All right. I'm just going to end it here. At least just watching the video. I might just talk for a little bit, but some pretty major stuff, I'd say. Shit's got me pretty messed up. I don't even know where to go with it. I might just end it. I don't know. Just let me know what you think, I guess. I'm gonna try to find more stuff like this too, because I'm always fascinated by these lectures, especially when it starts really ringing true. I mean, obviously, I don't know. I don't even know. I just know there's bigger things at play. Things are different than what we're told. There's definitely good and evil in the world, and I mean, this is crazy. This pause.
They said that,
so, I mean, take it all with a grain of salt too, because man, there's ways to trick people, and we're pretty ignorant as a species for the most part, I think. Because I think we can be manipulated, and there's definitely higher beings that are trying to get us to go in one direction or the other, and I don't know who's to say what's right or wrong. I'm gonna probably go with the ones that have more love and kind of want to see us grow, be more independent, than the ones that want to control us. But I don't know. I don't know what to do. I just know. I just know there's a lot going on. But probably just end it here. See you.